The Romans had never seen elephants. Not in battle, not in life, but in 280 BCE they met them not in a parade, but on a battlefield, and they were crushed beneath them. This is the story of the Battle of Heraclea, the first time elephants were unleashed against Roman legions, a clash that shook the foundations of Roman warfare and introduced a terrifying new weapon to the West. In the early 3rd century BCE, the Roman Republic was expanding aggressively across the Italian peninsula. City after city fell under Roman control, but one Greek city in southern Italy, Tarentum, refused to bow. Fearing Roman domination, Tarentum called for help, and help came from across the sea. King Pyrrhus of Epirus, a cousin of Alexander the Great, answered the call. He was ambitious, charismatic, and battle-hardened. He saw Tarentum's plea not just as a favor, but as a chance to carve out his own empire in Italy. Pyrrhus landed with an army of 25,000 men, including 20 war elephants beasts, trained for battle in the east. To the Romans, they were monsters. To Pyrrhus, they were shock troops. The Roman Senate, confident in its legions, dispatched Consul Publius Valerius Laevinus with a force of 40,000 soldiers. The two armies met near the river Ceres, close to the town of Heraclea. The terrain was tricky. The river divided the battlefield. Pyrrhus crossed first, hoping to catch the Romans off guard. But Laevinus responded quickly, sending his legions across the river to meet him head-on. The battle began with brutal infantry clashes. Roman discipline was unmatched. Their heavy infantry pushed hard. Pyrrhus himself fought in the front lines, dressed in dazzling armor, but the tide was uncertain. Then Pyrrhus gave the signal. The elephants charged. 20 massive beasts thundered forward, shaking the earth. Their tusks were sharpened, their bodies armored. Their riders hurled javelins from atop towers strapped to their backs. The Roman cavalry panicked. Horses bolted, infantry formations broke. Soldiers were trampled, tossed, and crushed. The Romans had no tactics to counter elephants. They had never faced such creatures. Their spears bounced off thick hides. Their shields shattered underfoot. Pyrrhus seized the moment. He ordered a full advance. The Roman army collapsed. Laevinus retreated with heavy losses. Pyrrhus had won, but it wasn't the victory he expected. He lost thousands of men. His elite units were decimated. And the Romans, they didn't surrender. They regrouped. They learned. Pyrrhus later said, "If we are victorious in one more battle with the Romans, we shall be utterly ruined." That quote gave birth to the term Pyrrhic victory, a win so costly it feels like defeat. The Battle of Heraclea was a turning point. It showed Rome that brute force wasn't enough. It taught them to adapt, to innovate, to study their enemies. In later battles, the Romans developed anti-elephant tactics, digging trenches, using fire, and targeting the beasts' handlers. They turned fear into strategy, but in 280 BCE, on the fields of Heraclea, they were crushed by beasts they didn't even know existed. The elephants of Pyrrhus weren't just animals. They were symbols of Eastern warfare, of psychological dominance, of the clash between old empires and rising republics. And though Pyrrhus would win again at Asculum and later lose at Beneventum, his elephants left a mark on Roman memory. Rome would go on to conquer the world, but it never forgot the day it was humbled by a king from Epirus and the thunder of 20 war elephants.